What's going on, y'all? The reviewer is here, and I'm back to give y'all this movie review of Trespass. All right, this is a film that came out in 1992 that was directed by Walter Hill. I know some people may not be familiar with this movie. It stars Bill Paxton as Vince, may he rest in peace. Ice-T is King James, William Sadler as Don, and Ice Cube as Savon. All right, and then they had other people such as Art Evans as Bradley, Stoney Jackson as Wiki, and many other cats on there. I'm not going to list them all, but I'll put those other actors in the description box. And the reason why I say that a lot of people may not be familiar with this film was that it was made in the early 90s, where not too many people was looking as other artists or rappers as, movie actors. If y'all know Ice-T and Ice Cube history, this was back in the day when they was kind of hardcore, you know what I'm saying? And this shows on this film. So this is more like a thriller, suspense-like film, if that makes sense. Got some actions in there and stuff like that. And this is the Blu-ray here. This is the collector's edition, you know what I'm saying? And this Ice-T as King James. And you'll see some of the details that goes on in this film. I'm gonna tell y'all a little synopsis, how this movie came about. The guy that's, I mentioned before, Don and Vince, they are firefighters, you know what I'm saying? This is in the beginning of the film. And they're trying to save someone from a burning house. But the guy who they're trying to save, he revealed that he was hiding some gold, some jewelry that was in the house. And he was saying, Lord, forgive me for, whatever he was saying. And then he wound up burning in the fire, even though Don and Vince was trying to save him. Some crazy stuff, man. So that's the beginning part of the film. And then on the flip side, there was King James and Savon, or there was a person named Video. He was filming a person named Goose, who set somebody up that I guess they was making a drug deal or some type of deal. Goose wound up killing the person that he was trying to make a deal with. And the person that he killed was from King James' crew. All right. It was in some abandoned building that they did the set in. Ironically, Don and Vince was trying to plan to go to that same exact building that the guy said who was hiding jewelry in the house or some gold. I don't know how many miles it was from Arkansas, because that's where Don and Vince were. So they decided to go there and try to, retrieve the gold. I guess I should say get the gold, because they never had it in the first place. But they was trying to get it. They was trying to go to the building to get the gold. Meanwhile, King James' crew was setting up the guy Goose in the building, the same building. Now, when Don and Vince got to the building, they had a lot of equipment. Don had a piece on him, or a gun. He said, never leave home without it. You know what I mean? What happens next is the guy Goose gets killed by one of King James' crew. And while the guy got killed, Vince happens to be a witness of a crime. He was a witness of a murder. That's when a lot of things went down with King James and Savon, who was his right hand man, basically. But he's more of a hothead. I ain't gonna get into too much details about it, but the fact that Vince is part of a witness to a murder, now they gotta do what they gotta do to survive and to try to escape from the building. And then the guy, another person named Bradley, he's an older man who was actually living in the building. You know what I'm saying? So now there's like a whole big frenzy in that building. And I'm going to stop there because I don't want to reveal too much of what's going on. What do I think of this film that I watched? I think this was a really underrated film. I know it didn't really get the credit it deserved back then, mainly because there was a lot of other movies out that was getting big recognition, big sales in the box office. This one did a little something, but it didn't really, met the expectations. So I think this is a movie for y'all to watch if you're into thriller films, and also if you want to see Ice-T and Ice Cube do their thing, in acting. And I think they did a really good job on that part. Y'all already know Bill Paxton and William Sadler did their thing, Stoney Jackson, and many others. The crazy part about this movie is that it has action in it, but it's a lot of suspense. And there's a crazy twist at the end. I'm not going to say what happened. For what I told y'all before, Don and Vince, initially they was there to try to find a goal that the man that, revealed it to him and stuff like that. But one of my favorite parts, or one of my favorite scenes in this movie, is in when Ice Cube character Savon was going off at King James, trying to tell him what to do, even though he's not the leader. You know what I mean? So they had like a little tension in between them, trying to decide what they wanted to do and stuff like that. That was one of my favorite scenes, when they were just going off on each other, just, ranting, going in a rage. And then one last one that I like too is when they was trying to like negotiate, in their rooms, and they just didn't know what to say to each other than trying to just be, hey man, we didn't came in looking for trouble, blah blah blah. It's a funny scene a little bit because it's like they're trying to negotiate, but they just don't get down to the nitty gritty, if that makes sense. I would check this movie out when you get a chance. And it has the interviews. This is like the special features on the Blu-ray that's not on the DVD. It has the music video of Trespass, that was by Ice-T and Ice Cube. And then they got interviews, behind the scenes, and things like that. So it has extra stuff on the Blu-ray that was not on the DVD. It says it right here. They all came to the wrong place at the wrong time. So it kind of explains what happened on this movie. And like I said, if you like thriller films and suspense and action, I think you will appreciate this film. And keep in mind, this is very 90s like, so you'll see a lot of things that's, within that time period that, most of us don't really deal with anymore. Shout out to all the actors. It wasn't really females on this movie, as far as, I don't think, it was none on this movie. This is a manly film for sure. Which, and I'm not trying to sound like I'm some type of misogynist, but I kind of like that. This is more of a man's film to me to add. All right. Shout out to director Walter Hill. Shout out to all the actors who was involved with this film, and even some of the ladies that may have been involved with it in some sort of way. All right. That's it. Much love to the real folks, and I'll be on here back with another review. All right. Peace out, guys.